it opens our sidebar. In this case, it slides in from the top. You can have a lot of content. It can scroll as far as it needs to. It's like its own full page if you want it to be. And we have a nice little sidebar that can be off canvas when it's not desired. This greatly reduces clutter, makes a blog look much more minimalist and clean, but it still gives people the option of using the sidebar widgets. Incidentally, we have a very similar function for the menu. If you click on this menu up here, we have an off canvas menu that slides in. If you want to learn how to build that, check out the tutorial on the card above or the description down below. And if you want to learn how to build the off-canvas sidebar, keep watching this video right here. So this is the blog on our demo site, and I just have a couple blog posts listed here. And on the right-hand side, we have the sidebar. And if we click into any one of these posts, we see the full post and we see the sidebar just like it is here. And we're going to make this sidebar disappear. There's going to be a button on the right-hand side, just like this menu button. So the first thing we need to do is create a custom blog template using Elementor. And in that template, we're going to add the open sidebar button. We're going to use a pop-up to create the slide out sidebar or the off-canvas sidebar. First, we're going to create the Elementor blog template. Let's go into the dashboard and let's head over to Elementor, Templates, Theme Builder. Let's click on Add New. Let's choose Single and then Post, which will apply it to all blog pages. Let's just call this blog template, create template. I'm going to use a predefined Elementor template. This video isn't about how to create a blog template, it's about how to create that off-canvas sidebar. I'm going to use this one right here. Let's just preview it. Looks quite nice. Let's click on Insert. And there we have it. The blog template is done. Let's add a button. I'm going to add it at the bottom of the template, the very bottom. Plop it in there. For the button text, I'm going to have open sidebar. And then I'm going to I'm going to add an icon. I'm going to make it a paper airplane, this one right here. Insert, add some spacing. I'm going to change the color to be orange. There we go. There's our button. This is the button that will open the sidebar. Under Advanced, we have to change some things. Let's go to Custom Positioning. Let's change the width to inline. Watch the blue border as I do this. That allows us to add things beside it or more accurately define its position when we're custom positioning it. If we have it as default, nothing can be added to the right and it's more difficult to add or do the custom positioning. So let's make this inline. And now we're going to add a class to it. Let's make the class sidebar button because we have to add some custom CSS. Unfortunately, there's no way that I found to rotate the button in Elementor. No easy way anyway. So we're just gonna add some custom CSS. It's one line, it's down below in the description. You can just copy and paste it. And this turns our sidebar sideways. If I take this out, it's horizontal again. Paste that in, it's sideways. That's exactly what we want. Let's go back into custom positioning. Under position, let's choose fixed. We see our button flies up to the top here and it stays there as we scroll. And that's not helpful in that position. I want to have it in the middle of the page on the right hand side following us down. So the horizontal orientation, let's move it to the right. There's on the right. Vertical orientation, let's choose percentage and make this 50%. So that's halfway down the page. Then we just have to close this gap here using the horizontal orientation. It's going to drag and drop this to where I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good right there. It's negative 65.9. And now we have this sidebar button that follows us around. Awesome. The next thing we have to do is create the pop-up. And then we're going to link it using the link right here. So I'm going to publish this post. I'm going to apply this to all posts, save and close. And now I'm going to head out to the dashboard again. It's going to open the blog and visit a blog post just to see what we have going on right now. Here's our open sidebar button. Doesn't do anything yet, but it's there. It follows us down the page just like we want it to. So we're halfway there. Let's create a pop-up. Let's go to Elementor, Templates, Pop-ups, Add New. I'm going to call the pop-up Sidebar Pop-up. Click on Create Template. I'm not going to choose any of these. Just going to click X to start with a blank one. I'm going to change the height to be fit to screen. So it's the full height of the screen. Doesn't have to be if you don't want it to be, but it can be. I'm going to reduce the width to be a little not so wide. A little not so wide. Position horizontal to the right, so it's right on the right hand side. Entrance animation, I will make it fade down. No, I'm going to make it fade up. Fade up from the top. That's pretty cool. Animation duration, I like the duration as it is, so I'm just going to keep that at 1.2 seconds. No other settings to be changed here. You could change the overlay. In fact, I think I will. I'm going to turn the overlay off. So the sidebar just slides in, but the overlay is not there. Under style, under background type, I'm going to just leave this as is. Just going to leave it white. You could add a contrasting color. That's what I recommend to do for menus, so it really stands out. But for sidebar, the sidebar is a little more subtle, I think. So having the shadow here should define the edge quite nicely. We don't need to change anything. Something to be mindful of is the close button in the top right. If you do have a dark background for this pop-up, you won't be able to see the close bar. For example, let's just change the color to black. And it's the wrong color. Okay, here, this gray right here. You can't see the close button. I called it the close bar earlier. It's a close button. So we can change the color of the close button under the close button options. Makes it much more apparent that there's an X there. So be mindful of that if you have a background color. I'm gonna have no color at all. There we go. Now we can add some widgets to the sidebar. I'm going to start with an image. I'm going to make it the logo of the website. This one right here. I'm going to make it not so wide. I'm going to add some padding at the top, or margin at the top. You'll see why in a little bit. Let's do that right there. I'm going to add a heading. The heading will be the sidebar. We'll change the color of the heading. Gray. And then we have access to a bunch of different normal sidebar widgets in WordPress. If we just type in WordPress up here in the search, we see them all listed here, or we can close these toggle menus or these accordions for all the different widgets and open the WordPress one, and we see them all listed here. I'm just going to add some usual sidebar widgets like recent posts. That looks good to me with those settings. And I'm going to add, let's see, categories. Quite commonly in the sidebar, I'm going to add calendar. And maybe I'll add a special sidebar widget, which is a login widget. And this login shortcode, this login widget comes from a plugin I use to create a custom login and registration page. There's a link to a tutorial. I'll show you how to do that up above and in the description down below to create custom designed login pages and registration forms. And this just adds a login anywhere you want with a shortcode. It's the same plugin that does that. So I'm going to add one more thing, and that's going to be an image. Put that at the very bottom. Just have this computer here on the table. It's pretty good. So there's our completed sidebar. I'm going to publish this. Not going to add any trigger conditions. Just go save and close. Exit out of here. And now we have to go back into the template for the post and update the open sidebar button to open that pop-up. Let's go back to Theme Builder, Blog Template, Edit with Elementor, click on this button here. Under Link, choose Dynamic. Under Actions, choose Pop-Up. Click on Pop-Up again to choose Open Pop-Up or Toggle Pop-Up, both work in this case. I'm going to search for Sidebar, and that would be the pop-up that's opened when this button is clicked. Let's click on Publish. We need to exit. Just come out here, refresh. We have this sidebar button that follows us down the page. We click on it, and boom, we have the sidebar that scrolls up from the bottom. And the sidebar persists as we scroll. That's why I wanted to take off the overlay, because the overlay made this whole area darker, whereas with this setup, you can have the sidebar there and keep on reading, which is pretty awesome. And currently this widget says you're currently logged in as Bjorn, so let's go to the incognito window and see how this looks when you're not signed in. Click on the Open Sidebar button, and we have a login form right here. Probably be handy to add a login headline here. Anyway, we have a nice looking sidebar that's easily closed. They can click on the X, or they can click anywhere on the page. And we have a cool looking blog post template with an off-canvas sidebar in conjunction with our off-canvas menu. So a lot of off-canvas stuff going on. Again, if you want to learn how to build this off-canvas menu, there's a link to that in the description down below. And we've now completed our off-canvas sidebar, and it looks really slick. And lastly, you may want to know, how does this work on mobile? Let's check it out. Let's go into the dashboard. Let's go to Appearance and Menus, and let's add the blog to our menu so we can open the blog inside the customizer. Just going to move it up to, let's see where I want to put it, right there, doesn't really matter. Click on Save Menu, then go to Appearance and Customize, and then navigate to your blog post. Just go to Menu and then Blog. And here we have our Elementor blog post template appearing in the customizer. And we open the sidebar by clicking that button. It looks really nice for desktop. Let's see what happens on tablet. Let's go to tablet view. We still have our button there. Very nice. Let's click on it. And there we have our sidebar being pulled in, working just as it should. Let's head into the mobile phone, click on it again, and here we have our sidebar appearing. It looks great on all devices in the customizer, which means there's probably a 99.5% chance it will look great in the actual real world on all these devices. If you like what you see here and you want to get Elementor Pro, please use the link in the description down below. It's an affiliate link. I get a small commission if you buy through that link. It does not make it more expensive for you. It's just that Elementor sends me a small commission for referring you. And that really helps me keep making these videos for free and putting them out there for free on YouTube so you can get better at what you do.